That is immoral. So the creators of today's technology have to take a moral responsibility. They often obviously want to create products that are attractive and used, but they shouldn't be designing products that are by definition addictive. Otherwise, it's like selling heroin legally on the streets.
We have to teach it in engineering school.
Absolutely. Engineering schools and education are key. My final chapter focuses on education, and in many ways, whilst everyone always says, well, the biggest problem is fixing education, that's a kind of a throwaway remark, which means we don't know how to deal with the problems. The real challenge and opportunity lies in people pioneering education. In my book, I go to some Montessori schools and Waldorf schools where my kids went to see how technology can be taught responsibly rather than just thrown at the kids.
Well, Andrew, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming in. Hope you come back and see us again.
I'd love it. Thank you for some really great questions, Maureen.
My guest today is Andrew Keen. The book is How to Fix the Future. It's published by Atlantic Monthly Press. I'm Moira Gunn. You're listening to Tech Nation. Welcome to Tech Nation Health, reimagining the future of health and healthcare with the emergence of new technologies and breakthrough science. Today on Tech Nation Health, multiple approaches to treating the liver, from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and NASH up to and including cirrhosis of the liver from a variety of causes. And all this from one small biotech. Then we'll hear from Chief Correspondent Dr. Daniel Kraft about the social determinants of health. First up, Dr. Steve Mento, the President and CEO of Canatus Pharmaceuticals. Well, Steve, welcome back.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Now, we've always talked about NASH. We're always going to talk about NASH until there ain't no more NASH.
That's right.
That's never going to happen. What is NASH?
NASH is a condition. It's associated with fat in your liver, and as the fat accumulates in the liver, it leads to inflammation and
Fatty
fibrosis.
liver. So
Fatty liver is the precursor to NASH. Once you get to NASH, you have inflammation associated with that fat in your liver. You can be perfectly fine with some fat in your liver, but as it progresses over time, it's the inflammation associated with that fat deposition in your liver that causes the problem.
You've been working on a drug, orally active,
Right.
meaning you can take it a tablet or
Right.
a pill. Tell us about that. What is it trying to do?
The drug that we have is called Emricasant, and it's been in clinical development for a number of years right now. We actually have 4 clinical trials ongoing. Oral, as you say, twice a day dosing, so it's an easy pill to take. The mechanism of action does 2 things. It fights the damage to cells that takes place due to fat and other things, but then also has an impact on the inflammation that's associated with that. So you get 2 bangs for the buck with this drug. Anti-damaging effect as well as an anti-inflammatory effect.
Now, what I think is a little amazing that people may not understand is that typically when you have a drug like this, you're in phase 2B, that's an advanced phase 2 before you get to phase 3,
Right.
is that you pick one clinical trial to go after and say, let's see how we do there before we go on. You've picked 4.
Right.
Now tell us about each of those 4 clinical trials and why you did 4. I can't think of any other company that said, let's do 4 clinical trials at once.
Well, you're right, and in the space we're unique in that context. Lots of people are focusing on one stage of the disease, an early stage of the disease, and are focusing their clinical trials there. We believe our mechanism of action is powerful enough to really deal with the disease at various stages. So we're testing 4 different patient populations, 4 different endpoints in those, from very early stage disease up to and including patients with cirrhosis, late stage liver disease that have symptoms. And in that very last trial, which we just initiated, we're actually looking at clinical outcomes, whether or not our drug can take a patient that's sick and physically make them better, or prevent patients from getting sicker along the way. So they're not, they're real endpoints and a regular approval endpoint. That's also distinctly different. The other thing that's important about this is a strategy that we put in place about 3 years ago. And these are really long trials. The longest duration of trial is 2 years in length.